What's going on, people, and welcome back to another player versus player. Today we've got Michael Owen versus Alan Shearer. Both don't talk to each other to this day after some beef during Michael Owen's time at Newcastle and Shearer when he was kind of in that manager role. And even as players there before he sort of hung it up because of injuries, Shearer, they've got their issues. But they did have a good partnership at times, years before that all happened anyway. So this is going to be interesting because Shearer was kind of Owen's mentor when he first came into the scene as a player. So interesting one. Owen's one of my all-time favourite players. I've always had a massive respect for Shearer, so I'm interested to see how it goes. First up, we've got goals. Obviously, Alan Shearer, one of the highest ever top goal scorers in the Premier League. So he takes the goals pretty easily for 260 in his career, whereas Owen had 175. So still a good effort from Owen, but he doesn't get close to Shearer on the goals. And also, in my memory, I would actually side more memorable goals with Owen, but because Shearer scored like nearly double the amount, I have to give it to Shearer for the numbers. So yeah, Shearer for goals. Finishing as in technique and just quality around the box, I'd have to give it to Shearer also. I think Owen was underrated in that aspect, but you're going against one of the best goal scorers ever, so it's hard to not give him the finishing either. So Shearer gets the finishing also. Heading, unfortunately, this wasn't ever Owen's go-to. He was a pretty small guy. He was more known for his pace, not his aerial ability. So Shearer, I do remember a bunch of his goals, a lot of them being headers. So he was a force in the air and would worry defenders. So heading also goes to Shearer. Pace is an easy one. Shearer might have been a bit quicker in his younger days when he was at Southampton and Blackburn, but the time I saw him playing it at Newcastle, he was never quick. Owen's one of the quickest players I've ever seen. Before he had his hamstring issues, he was unbelievably quick. That's what stands out most to me when I remember Owen. He was a quality player, but his pace was the frightening thing that caused a lot of issues for people. So pace goes to Owen. Technique, I don't think either of these were super blessed with technique. Neither of them stand out to me, remembering them for their first touch and stuff. I'll probably edge it to Shearer, but I don't think there's a lot in it. Positioning, Owen used his pace a lot more, so he didn't necessarily have to time his runs as much and make the runs into the box and stuff as much as Shearer did. So I'm going to give positioning to Shearer just because of the pace factor that Shearer didn't have. He had to use more of the positioning. Strength, again, I don't feel like Owen was super strong. His pace got him out of a lot of trouble and sort of neutralised 50-50s because he was so quick. And Shearer was always... one of his main tools that I remember of him having were his sheer strength on the ball. Hold-up play, strong in the air, very hard to knock off the ball. Wasn't afraid to get physical, so... strength has to go to Shearer. Agility, I'd have to give this one to Owen. Not just because of his pace, but he did look lighter on his feet and a bit more natural in tighter spaces. Owen takes it on agility, especially before all the injuries. Leadership, I don't ever think Owen was a leader. I think he was a vital part of teams he played in, but I don't ever look and remember him as a captain sort of material. So Shearer was obviously a captain for country and Newcastle for so many years. And I do think he's got kind of that natural sort of leadership in him. So I'm going to go with Shearer for leadership. Next up, we got presence. Like I said, I feel like Owen had defenders shaking in their boots with his pace before they went up against him. And I think Shearer had it in the sense of defenders knew they were going to be in for a hard day, whether it was in the air, strength, or getting dirty with tackles and 50-50s and stuff. It's a tough one. I think this one's very close. I'm actually going to give it to Owen for presence because I feel like as a young kid when he came in, I don't think there's been many players in history at that age to come in and instill that much fear in defenders that he was going up against. So I'm going to go with Owen for presence. Teamwork, if I've won a Premier League, both probably should have won more as well than they did. Both vital to their team. I'm going to go with Owen, slightly, but I think it's very close for teamwork. Trophies, it's not even close on this one. Shearer ended up with 1, which was the Premier League title with Blackburn, and Owen won 5. Not Premier League, but mixed between like UEFA Cups, Super Cups and FA Cups, Community Shields and stuff. So Owen takes it 5-1 on trophies. And then lastly, we've got career. Shearer, obviously a little bit of time at Southampton, not that long at Blackburn, even though he won a league, and then the majority of his career at Newcastle. Owen ventured out a little bit more, been to a few more teams. Probably his career definitely did die out in the latter years, but he got to experience Madrid. Obviously played for United as well. Liverpool fans hate him still for that, and kind of the Madrid move and that, but I feel like Owen got that Madrid move, which was massive, and the 5 titles was he won with Liverpool. I'd have to edge the career to Owen, in my opinion. But some would argue Shearer because he's one of the all-time top scorers in the Premier League. So it's a tricky, tough one, but I'm going to go with Owen for career. The final score, Owen got 6 and Shearer got 7. So I thought it was going to be pretty close, and Shearer just pips it. Let me know what your thoughts are. You think it should be more or less, or a draw even. But yeah, Owen's one of my all-time favourites again. So my favourite hasn't won because I prefer Owen out of Shearer out of both of these. But with complete honesty and how I do it, Shearer comes out on top 7-6. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll put the next set of matchups in the poll for you to get voting and let me know which ones you want next. In a bit.